Hi Virgo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your Winter Solstice 2021 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's see what the tarot has to say. Virgo. How will Virgo be affected by the Winter Solstice 2021? Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. These two. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. So at the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. Let's see what the cards have to say. We have Judgment, and we have the Empress. Absolutely beautiful. We're being called to really bring something powerful forward during this time. It brings us then to the Hanged Man and Strength. Now this is Leo energy. Strength is Leo energy. So if we're born on the cusp with Leo, or if we have Leo energy within our natal chart, this is coming through very powerfully here in our inner selves. We can also have Leos within our lives, which will have a very big impact on us personally during this time. We might not even be aware of how much they're impacting us, so just be mindful of this. We then have the Seven of Pentacles and the 10 of Pentacles. So great prosperity at our heart, which is really quite brilliant. And then in the public arena, we have the Page of Coins, which is us. We're represented by the coins, by the pentacles in the minor arcana. We're represented by the Hermit in the major arcana. And then we have Judgment once again. We're really seeing a new way of moving forward. We're really stepping out of a box that we had felt confined in, a way that we had been kind of like forced into being that wasn't right for us. So that's going to be something that we're really freeing ourselves from. And that freedom can manifest itself in many ways. But it does seem on the 21st of December, which is when the winter solstice is, that we're really going to be looking at things quite differently and coming to some realizations, some manifestations within our lives that we've been waiting for. And now we're looking at it and it's like, well, why not? Why not move forward like this? Let's look at the energy we need to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. This is the King of Cups. This is emotional manipulation by somebody who is very, very good at it. So just be aware of this. This is somebody who can come across very strong, very fierce, very determined, but this is also somebody who is a master emotional manipulator. So if we get pulled in by this person and then we're looking at things like after we're done with the interaction with them, or we're looking back and we're like, what the heck just happened here? This is because this person is just really, really good at getting what they want, pushing things in a certain direction for themselves. So just be aware of this. We then have our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. We have inspiration, which is the sacral chakra. It's a new dawn and it's a new day. We definitely see that by judgment coming through twice here. We're really stepping into our power. We have the creative energy of the high priestess coming forward, and that creative energy is also represented in the chakra energy that is around us. This is a sense of opening up doors. This is a sense of creativity, sensuality really coming forward within our lives. We also have to remember that the sacral chakra is tricky because not only is it where our creativity and sensuality is held, but it's also where all the negativity of this life and of past lives are held. And we can really feel like we're bringing so much more, like there's so much more here than we're able to pinpoint. And sometimes we just have to step back and say, okay, what's the feeling? What's the pattern emotionally that I've been stepping in time and time again? And why is it holding me back? Why is it denying me? What is going on here? So that's going to be very important to us. Now let's look at the astrological aspects of the 21st of December, winter solstice, the longest night of the year. So winter solstice is a celebration of rebirth of life. It is a time of letting go of anything that doesn't align with us and our higher purpose. We're going to be given time to look at our fears, to look at what's holding us back, and to really look at the changes that we want to make. Now there is a conflict here that we have to address. The conflict is of freedom and authority. So as earth sign energy, we can have a tendency to lean more towards authority. Now, people might laugh at that about us, Virgo. They could say, oh no, you're so free-spirited. Earth sign energies don't have to be put in a little box, right? But we like things to be structured. We like things to be able to have a solid foundation to them. And anybody with strong earth sign energy within their chart likes this. But what we have here is we have the conflict of Saturn and the conflict of Uranus coming forward. And this is the conflict of Saturn is authority and Uranus is freedom. And what this is the winter solstice is sandwiched between these times of Mercury semi-sextile Saturn and Mercury trine Uranus on the 20th of December, the day before, the winter solstice. And then on the 24th of December, we have Saturn squared Uranus. So again, that energy comes forward, that energy of conflict between authority and of freedom. And what we have to look at here is how we're being forced to face how either authority is, hampering our freedom, or our freedom is hampering our authority. And there's going to be a real sense of needing to step back and needing to look at this. Now, it's interesting here because what is happening is Mercury on the 20th of December. Mercury is bringing it into our conscious line of being. Mercury is our communication. Mercury is the way we think, we process things, and the way we are able to say it to ourselves and to those around us. So being aware of this is going to be very important. Now, this conflict is amplified by the sun energy moving from Sagittarius, moving from being in Sagittarius to being in Capricorn. Now, Sagittarius is outspoken, it's optimistic, and it is extroverted energy. Capricorn is hardworking, responsible, ambitious energy. And the interesting thing is that Saturn gets amped up in its power just a bit more because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So what we need to do here is we need to balance our responsibilities with our freedom. We need to look at our dreams with our reality and be able to say, how am I stepping forward into happiness in 2022, the angel number year of new beginnings? And this has us being called by our angels here at our very root. This sense of power, this sense of connection, this sense of becoming. And this day is also important because, we have the 12th, right, of December. December is the 12th month. This is the 22nd day. So we just reverse that around of 2021. So we have the numbers repeating themselves here again, and it's really showing us how are we moving forward? What are we embracing? What are we creating? And our angels are coming in and saying, listen to my call, listen to the direction of your heart, listen to the insights or the beauties that are coming your way that will be easy to overlook because it's not going to fall into the kind of proper narrative of life and existence. It's not going to fall into the little box that we expect it to. And it brings us to the Empress. It brings us to a time of creation, a time of birthing something forward into the world. Now, this can be a time of fertility for us. It definitely can. But what it is also going to be, and more for the masses of us, is that there's something within us that needs to come out. There's some sort of creative aspect, creative vision, creative voice that needs to step into the world that we've been holding back. And it's because either we've been too overworked, it's been super stressful. I mean, the last couple of years have been odd and stressful in ways that could not have been imagined. And even, if if it was hinted at, you wouldn't be able to put it into these sort of boxes that they've been put into, this sort of way the world has progressed. So here with the High Priestess, we need to birth something forward into the world. It's something that we've been creating within ourselves. Now, either this is like an idea, oh, I've always wanted to have a winter solstice party, or, oh, I've always wanted to bake cookies and share them with neighbors and just do something fun and communal like this, being able to connect with our community, being able to connect with family and friends just through random acts of kindness, just through, being able to open our hearts. And sometimes, we can't be there with them, but we can talk, we can connect, and we can do the very best that we can. And that's going to be really important. What we are creating, what we are birthing forward, does not have to be something tremendous. It doesn't have to be, oh my gosh, I'm going to start my own business, or oh my gosh, I'm going to take art classes and really be able to hone into that talent that I wanted, or, start up something on Etsy or something to that effect. It can be, but it doesn't have to be. It can be something really small. It can be, I'm going to start doing off arts and crafts with my kids every, Wednesday, or I'm going to start setting time for myself to be able to journal, or to be able to color, or to be able to do something to de-stress for myself. And it brings us to this place of strength. And it's going to take strength to be able to say, this is what I need to do for me. This is the power and this is the connection that I need for me. And we have the lion and the rooster on top of him. It's like, would you expect the rooster to be able to be on top of the lion? Would you expect this power to be able to come forward? It is not brute force strength, but it is the strength of insight. It is the strength of understanding. It is the strength that is most often overlooked within our world, to go with something so much more ocular, so much more vision oriented. I can see it, therefore it is. And on the longest night of the year, it isn't about what can be seen with the eyes. It is about what is felt with the heart. Strength comes forward, and strength is going to be changing things. We're going to find that it takes strength to say, but this is what I want to do. Like, this is the way I need to rise forward. This is what I want to create. It takes strength to say, yeah, but I don't like that. I like this, or I'm not going to walk in that direction. I'm going to walk in this direction. Or just to start questioning things and thinking, oh my gosh, nobody else is questioning this, but I am. It can be our connection with the earth. It can be our connection with divinity. It can be our connection with ourselves, our loved ones. What are we questioning? What do we need to question and bring forward? Because we're not going to see things the same way on the 21st of December. We're going to be seeing things quite differently. And as we're seeing things quite differently, we're starting to embrace ourselves quite differently. And we're going to think, I'm wrong. It's not falling into conformity, so I have to be wrong. And what Spirit is saying here is that no, just because you see things differently does not mean your views are wrong. It means that you are empowering yourself through your eyes, through your process of elimination, through what is right for your soul at this moment. Have patience with yourself as the gifts really start to come forward, as things start to move in a way that we weren't planning on them to move. Patience is needed because it does take a while to bring things forward and to have it kind of stand on its own. If we use the analogy of a child, when a child is born, oh my gosh, are they a lot of work. More work than you could ever have imagined. When you're sitting there and thinking about all the great things about having a kid, and then you have one and you're like, this was not what I expected. And so here, and that's with anything, starting a business, falling in love with somebody, having a relationship with someone. After the rose is off the bloom, you sit there and you look at it and you're like, wow, this is so much more work. And so we have to be patient with ourselves, because we're going to be seeing things start moving forward, and it's going to be in divine timing, not our timing, or the timing when the earth is aligning with our power. And we have questions that we need to ask. We have certain things that we need to see. This is with the 10 of Pentacles. This is generational blessings coming forward. This is blessings within our lives, being able to change certain circumstances, certain things, and being able to stand in wealth and prosperity and abundance without being held back anymore. When generational blessings come in, we talk about generational curses, but there are good things that we have accumulated through our generational line. There are blessings that get to move us forward. There are also blessings within our past life self. As we have learned, as we have grown as a spiritual being, what are the blessings? What is the knowledge that we know that's leading us forward? And how are we embracing this? How are we being guided? The 10 of Pentacles is an end of a cycle when it comes to our finances. It's an end of a cycle. It's having learned, it's having seen, and it's being able to share it with community. That sense of connection is going to be so important to us, however we manifest that connection within our waking world. It moves us to the Page of Coins in the public arena. We are a student of our creativity. We are a student of our prosperity. We are a student of the bounty that is connecting us with this earth and what we desire for ourselves and from ourselves during this time. We're opening up a door in a very real way, and we're not being held back. This is a time where we can ask the questions. This is a time where we can be like, well, what about this and what about that? Because we have a child's curiosity, and it's also an innocence to us. There's also a beauty to us that, people tend to poo-poo. They say, oh, well, that person's innocent or that person's naive. Like, you can totally take advantage of them. But what if that person is kind and wise and, quote unquote innocent, because they look at the hatred in the world. They look at the corruption of people and they say, I'm not associating. I'm not falling into these traps. And if it means that I need to walk a different path, if it means that I need to start, looking at things differently than everybody else, going right back to that hanged man, I am. And that's where the strength comes from. And that's also where we start to rise and we start to create, because we realize that we need the world that resonates with our soul, not the world that everybody else wants us to be a part of. And so again, we're rising like Phoenix from the ashes. We're rising to an intensity, to an insight, to an understanding that we didn't think we had. And this is going to help propel us into 2022. This is going to help propel us into a place of new beginnings and new power, because it's like, I see myself as a new being. I see myself more powerfully, more assertively, more assuredly than I ever have before. It brings us to our energy to be mindful of, and that's the moon. Now, it's also the fact that this winter solstice falls still on the power of the full moon, which is in the 18th, was on, there we go, the 18th of December. And the power of the full moon lasts for 2 weeks, after that full moon. So we have the moon's energy coming in. We're looking at the subconscious self. We're looking at the conscious self. We're looking at the ways that we want to move forward, but also the fears that really do hold us back. This is a time where we can really dive into our fears. We can let our fears absolutely guide us, absolutely control us. This can be fear mongering. It's like a sense of, this is so much more chaotic than I ever thought it would be. And we can fall into people who really help build that fear within our lives, or we can shatter that. And it's going to be so important for us to shatter that fear, to look at things and say, okay, I see, but I'm not spending my life, chained down. I'm just not. It moves us to our chakra energy, which is communication. This is the third chakra. I am communicating with myself what I need. I'm communicating with my angels, with my spirit guides, with my, guardians as I'm moving forward. I'm communicating with the world. I'm seeing so much more. And we're also communicating on such a different level, such a higher level than we were, or than we ever thought we would be. And so that's going to be really quite powerful for us. It leads us to our rooted message here, and that's the high priestess, which I'm not surprised of at all. We have very strong sacred feminine energy here coming forward, and this is a sense of, I am connecting, I am seeing, the veil is being lifted from my eyes, and as the veil is being lifted, I get to see that I get to have my world my way. Maybe it's not going to conform to what everybody else wants. Maybe it doesn't play into the narrative of others, but it gets to play into the narrative of me. And we're also looking at people, and it can be people that we thought were really great and had it all together. And now we're seeing the mask that they're wearing. We're seeing behind the mask. And it's like, oh, you're human too. You're flawed. You're just making it. You have your stresses. You have, your doubts and your fears and everything like that. And that makes us feel more connected. That makes us feel as if I'm not in the struggle all by myself, because the world, the media, it makes us think that we're in it alone. And yes, we have movements that can make us feel connected, but then we always go on to the next thing. It's the next news cycle. It's the next thing that catches our attention. And what Spirit is really saying here is look at the world around us, not what we think we need to see, or not what we think people are projecting forward, but really the honest, harsh truth of it. And that becomes a game changer. It moves us to our subconscious inner self. And that's the Two of Swords. And the Two of Swords is a road opening up that we didn't think was even an option. It's ways starting to move forward that we're like, oh, but that can be? Like, that's seriously a thing? So the Two of Swords we always thought there was one road or another. You could go left or you could go right, but you couldn't go anywhere else because that just wasn't done. And now we're going to see, oh yes, it is done. Oh yes, you can move forward in different ways. And that's going to be rather surprising. It moves us to our subconscious, emotional self. And it's the Seven of Wands, we're going to be so used to fighting that subconsciously it's going to be like, oh, well, I have to stand my ground. I have to fight for this prosperity. I have to fight for this abundance. And if I don't fight, obviously I don't want it. Or if I don't fight for it, if I let other people, think something that is wrong, or if I let other people, move this certain way that goes against what I think, then obviously it's all going to fall apart. And what Spirit is saying here is don't waste your energy on others. And I know that sounds kind of harsh to say, but don't waste your energy always in a battle with others. There is so much more you have to do than stay on top of others, than to make sure that they're heading in the direction that they need to, or that we would like them to head in. Sometimes people have to make their mistakes. As harsh as it is, how, unwelcome it is to our hearts to let others fall or to let others learn harsh lessons. We have to stop fighting. We have to step into our power and into ourselves and say, I'm not wasting my energy anymore. And as we see this and as we say this, we are empowered, we are emboldened, and we also see when to fight and when not to. We become much calmer within our world. It starts to slow down. It starts to center around the heart, and it moves us to our subconscious public arena self. And that's the Tower. This is a change that we cannot ignore. This is a change that pushes us out of our comfort zone, that has us looking at things so differently than before. We've all been through a Tower time, and that's what it's really seeing here. Subconsciously, we all know what it's like to have the rug pulled from underneath us. We know the fear and the pain and the hardship and the chaos. And this is a time for us where we're saying, but I'm still on my feet, but I still know me. But I see the way divinity has pushed me out of my comfort zone and made me see things that I never would have seen before, made me part of a reality I never would have been a part of if not for XYZ. And that's going to be very powerful for us. That's going to be something that is a very strong lesson, even though it was something that maybe we weren't, wanting to learn, as nobody ever wants the Tower to come into their lives. But it's important. So the intense change really does lead us forward, and there's something beautiful that's coming out of this time. So Virgo, I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity of this winter solstice. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Virgo, and may you have a blessed winter solstice.